So we're doing training today, and suddenly I look over, and we do it in this community centre, so there's this community garden next to it, and there's this kid, staring in, with his hands over his eyes, proper, kid at a sweet shop window, staring in.
Orphan at Christmas.
Orphan at Christmas, terrifying visage, Christmas tree style, haunted face man. He's there. And I look away thinking, well, he's going to go away in a minute. He's not going to risk, hiding or anything. And he does go away. And then next time I look up, there's two of them. And I just stood there, staring into this place. And I can see the trainees are getting riled. They're noticing this, and it's very distracting. So I say to the trainer, because we had a guest trainer that week, I say to the trainer, my boss, a couple of kids over there looking in, thinking very much, he'll go deal with it. What with him being the trainer and this being his training course. And he looks over, he's like, oh, tell him to go away. I don't know how to talk to fucking kids and tell them to do things I want them to do. Yeah, hello there. Would you mind awfully? Oh gosh. Would you be terribly put out were you to do that somewhere else? Look, I appreciate, I was a child once, I remember it. Oh, it was marvellous. Why aren't you... I always expect them to be frightened of me. They should be. What I really want to do is just go out and say, fuck off! I'm an older person. I could kill you, maybe. You don't know. I might be allowed to kill you.
I might have a shooter. Or a stabber.
That might be fine. You don't fucking know. You're a kid. Get out of it.
For me, it's always very much like spiders, that I'm more scared of them than they are of me.
Well, they haven't formed the social thing yet, have they? So they might not know. They don't have social conventions they need to conform to or feel terrible for the rest of the day.
They might do you. They might just bloody do you.
I mean, this is all happening in Tower Hamlets, so...
Well...
You can't argue with that level of combat experience that they'll have already accrued in the playgrounds.
In the womb. Fucking womb, mate.
Fucking vicious room.
How did the story end? Did you go out?
I got up and they ran away. So. What a day not to wear trousers.
Still laughing with the last joke, listeners.
I like the fact that we've been in a 2-minute gap.
Yeah.
Sounds like we've just been laughing all the way through the credits. Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that is as spectacular as its barbaric passions and savage conquests. I'm Paul Salt.
I'm your brother, my brother.
Oh, there's a 5 on this episode. You fear what that means. Down the history hole. Should I have a jingle for the history hole?
Yeah, sure, I do a history hole jingle. Get down this hole.
Down the history hole. It's time to pull the brakes on this crazy 50s mobile.
What?
Yeah, I know. We all want to get to Reefer Madness and whatever Buster Keaton's most poorly reviewed film is. But there's lots of excellent 50s cheese we mustn't skip.
Oh, boy.
Spread it all over our crackers. Coming only 2 years prior to The Wild Women of Wongo, it's The Conqueror. Da-da-da-da. You know, the Conqueror.
Oh, yeah?
It's the one where John Wayne plays Genghis Khan.
Oh, what?
Temujin, under his heel the cowering nations, in his arms the unconquered woman. He took what he wanted when he wanted it. Bortai meets his fire with ice, matches his fury with flame.
Yeah.
Literally never heard of this
happened.
before you told me. What a fucking film.
I was semi-aware. I think I'd seen a picture of it and just been like, no. It fucking isn't.
I went, oh, brilliant. This will be, get a chance to watch a John Wayne film finally. Hope this one's good.
I'll finally get to understand what all the fuss is about. This film comes near the end of Howard Hawks' 7-year campaign to destroy RKO and the Hollywood studio system.
Howard Hawk?
Yeah. I got that one right?
Hughes?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Every time! Fuck me.
I bet Howard Hawke was involved, though. He was the linchpin.
He came, he slept with everyone on set, and then just rode one of those horses into the distance with several of the women. He was actually living the life of Genghis Khan is the thing, is Howard Hawke. That's what he was up to at the time, with Humphrey Bogart, his mate.
And Howard Hughes was like, nah, John Wayne, he's the one.
Bye, Howard Hawke, I'm busy fucking over RKO in the Hollywood studio system in accordance with a brilliant joke Paul was making. Christ almighty. I do wish more billionaires would humiliate themselves by taking on endeavours that they're utterly unqualified to do, though. Oh, an update on my SpaceX tickets. In the post. To Mars.
No, I'm not a pedo. What is this?
Oh, he thinks I'm a pedo and now I can't go to Mars. Now I can't go to Mars with him.
Or Muskville, as it's now called. Billionaires with singular names as well. Like Elon Musk, I think. So we can remember them.
Everyone's going to remember the name Musk. I like that. Has his whole life just been an attempt to overcome that name? Oh, here comes Musk.
Just change it.
Here comes Musky Musk. They wouldn't call him that in school. They'd just call him Stinky McShitface. Yeah. It would be like, no, it did evolve naturally.
Gay boy Dickface.
It did evolve naturally from the Musk name. But it did end up at Dickface, at Stinky Dickface.
Is that your Musk? No, it's Lynx, actually. Fuck off.
God, school kids are great. I wish they were afraid of me. Why aren't they? What do I have to do? What more do I have to do?
Shave your head.
Stick it to them. My head.
Stick
it to them. Here comes Sticky Pete.
If you stick your bald pate to the head of a boy, he will fear you and respect you.
That's what I learned in Tower Hamlets. My mum told me. Never take your pate off a boy who's coming at you with a knife.
Wise mum.
Yeah. She knew. She fucking knew.
Ever since she lost her hair in that Glasgow fire.
Oh, yeah. Glasgow Fire was my disco name.
The Glasgow Fire or just Glasgow Fire? There's a difference.
Went around setting fire to mums. Shaving a mum. Now, it turns out that whitewashing isn't something that Alex Proyer invented. This film stars 0 Mongolian actors, or even any Asian ones. In fact, I don't think there's anyone in this who wasn't born within shooting distance of John Wayne's ranch.
I mean, luckily that includes a tribe of Native Americans that were roped in to be Mongolians. Close enough. You know, back in Pangaea days.
One of them was
same bit of land.
One of them was a proper fesp. He went to Mongolia and he stayed there for months and he learnt the language and really got the mannerisms down. And he came back and John Wayne shot him. He's not in the film because Wayne just shot him in the face.
He brought John Hoyt in to go, you see that? You do that. And then we'll shoot this guy. And he did. A for effort, John Hoyt. Didn't open his eyes the entire movie.
God bless him. Lee Van Cleef was there. It was a fucking disaster. There was another apparently better film about Temujin in 1965, starring as Genghis Khan, Omar Sharif, an Egyptian. So,
well,
clearly very ahead of its time.
Gerard Butler's basically Mongolian.
Basically, it's all cyclical. Time is a flat circle.
Like Egypt.
And Omar Sharif is not a fucking Mongolian, no matter how you cut it. The film was received by critics like a horde of barbarians right on your China. John McCartan, over at The New Yorker, said you never saw so many horses fall down in your life. Still, even though their tumbling is far superior to the antics of the actors, it presently becomes tiresome.
Presently becomes tiresome. I love the olden days.
I loved it when I could presently become anything. Erect was good. That was a while ago. Sweetie, are you becoming erect? Presently.
Mum.
Momentarily. Oh my god.
Mums are lovely. They care.
They just want to help you along.
Your dad wouldn't ask you if you had hard on, would he? Back in the day.
He wouldn't ask if you had wood.
I don't sweat down mine just to come home and check on virility at spawn.
You just expect it. We all know. We all sat round the snooker table polishing our knobs, and there was no word about it. Didn't need to. Not in them days. Bang it on the 8-ball.
Not when women were men.
No, when men were men and women were men. Children were men. Sheep were men.
Minds were men.
Minds were men. Britain was men.
Yorkshire was men.
Fuck me. A film critic writing for Time magazine whose name has been lost to Time. Both the magazine and the thing.
Ironic.
Wayne portrays the great conqueror as a sort of cross between a square-shooting sheriff and a Mongolian idiot. The idea is good for a couple of Snickers, but after that it never wanes, but it bores.
Oh.
Fuck yeah. Pass.
Gosh. Fuck
Check
me.
your son's cocks. Check them.
Stick one right up me, that's good.
You don't know what's going on down there. God, another group of people who didn't know what's going on down there was the public. They didn't like it either, and they focused most of their ire on the casting of Wayne. Here's some that didn't. Baldwin, 7 at IMDb, said it's so bad that it makes the tepid Yugoslavian-based remake of a decade later, at half the price, look like a good movie. Well, there goes my one better thing.
Oh, snatched by Baldwin.
Yeah, fucking Baldwin. Bald-faced bastard. XYZPFQ69. Well, hey! X and Y are sex chromosomes. 69 and IMDb friends. It's not the Duke's worst. And he's right. The Duke Wayne's lowest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, is a movie called Hell Fighters, where he plays Chance Buckman.
Fuck Luckman.
Fuck Backman.
Got a fire? A really big burner? Just call the Duke.
The best there is in what he does. I can do my job. All right, do it.
Keep an eye out for that. It's about a fucking dude who goes and puts out, like, oil tower fires, and it's about the tension between his wife, who doesn't want him to go off and fight oil tower fires. But he's got to.
Sounds like a great American novel.
He can't hold...
Sounds like Donna Tartt's 4th novel.
Starring Chance Buckman. Fuck yeah. Do it, you tart. But it's... You know what? It's not just the whitewashing and being a massive critical failure that makes The Conqueror a notorious disaster. Apparently, they made the rather unfortunate decision to film it directly underneath where the US Army were testing its atomic bombs in the Utah desert. They did eventually move the shoot to Hollywood, but Hughes wanted the terrain to look the same, so he brought the irradiated dirt with him.
Yeah.
Excellent. 91 members of the cast and crew developed cancer, about 3 times higher than the national average for a similar group, including 46 people who died from the disease, which included director Dick Powell and the Duke John Wayne himself. And his son. Yeah. But hey, at least we got those bombs working good. It's been handy over the last 70 years.
Yeah, see, this was, 30 years before Chernobyl? No one except the people whose job it was to know the dangers of these knew the dangers of these. And they didn't ask the people whose job it was to know the danger of these. So how would you know?
Exactly. Nobody but the US government, the US Army, and the US knew how dangerous it was. So, really, who's to blame? John Wayne, I expect.
Probably, yeah.
So, Paul, you red-headed Jezebel.
What is it, my brother?
What's one thing that made your blood say taker?
It had the feel of an epic, didn't it? It certainly had the feel of one, like in the olden days.
Oh, God, yeah.
The credits came up, all of them, before the film starts.
They didn't really come up, they just fucking happened at you.
Yeah, they're on you. They're all up in you. You got credits dripping off you, and then we've got these like lovely rolling vistas of irradiated Utah and people
and irradiated John Wayne.
Yeah, and loads of people, real actual people with wants and dreams and hungry tummies. They're all like on horses and that, and they're all real. You could touch them if you wanted. Some of them are just falling off and throwing themselves down cliffs, whilst like Grand.
What's Gran? Gran cleans up
Gran
after
laughed and laughed and laughed. And
like it were old days.
Shoveling more irradiated dirt into Utah, my Gran. And whilst some sort of, I forget the composer, whilst some sort of Lawrence of Arabia style score plays out.
Yeah, less the sort of gentle strings of Lawrence of Arabia and more the sort of big brass of old Hollywood. Fucking hell.
It felt good though.
You're gonna die.
As it was beginning, I thought, well, maybe production's gonna be enough for me for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, I wondered. I wondered if, like Cleopatra, the sort of rough edges of this will be smoothed over by just how fucking... What's the word? What's the good word that they use to describe? It's like lush. It's great. It's very good. I thought the very good production might get me through this. But the opening title warns us, Paul. This is a time of plunder and rapine.
And rapine.
Rapine!
Is it rapine or rapine?
Oh, I don't know.
I didn't
I
check.
wondered.
Let's check
I didn't know
time.
the word before I saw it. I googled it and saw that it's like the forceful acquisition of property, which is great. That's very much what the Mongolians were known for. But I wondered if they had misspelled raping. Just put an E in there by mistake. Whoop.
Rapine.
I've got a raping mother.
It's actually rapine or rapine. So
lovely.
Fantastic.
I love it when they give
win.
us both the option to be right. Yeah. Neither of us has to die tonight.
There's a lot of that. Yeah, and then we get about 1,000 people on horses riding around for a bit.
Yeah. Then we have a marriage procession of a very bored-looking woman. And
She's a woman in a Hollywood film in the 50s.
And the fat old man she's marrying. Not to worry, another fat old man is going to come and rescue her very soon. But then 2 horses come over the horizon, to which the score does this dramatic da-da-da! Oh, fuck!
Yeah, there was many shades of Monty Python in this. It's inescapable.
They come down. John Wayne sort of eye fucks the woman a bit. We should give her a name. What's her name? It's Brunei.
Bortai.
Bronte.
Bortai.
All Borters. Bought license plate. Bunting. She gets a little eye fucked by John Wayne. John Wayne says something threatening to the bloke, to old fat man. And then he rides off, and Bunting says, you should have killed him for the way he spoke to us. Oh, you're such a fucking big part of the problem. You know that? I'm just trying to, live my life. I don't want to fight every bloke we meet. These are difficult times. I don't need to prove anything to you. Why don't you just back off, love? Just saying. Yeah, well, don't.
Next time, don't, alright?
I don't need to prove myself to you. We
didn't focus on the first reveal of John Wayne as Genghis Khan, which when he's shrouded partly by distance, partly by perspective, and finally when he's close up to Bortai, we are treated with the first shot of John Wayne, the Duke, as Genghis Khan.
As
and
Temujin.
fuck me, Paul.
I share your taste in women, Targetai, but not in blood. Farewell, Tartar woman.
Just ram it right up me. What the fuck is going on with John Wayne in this?
How did this happen? How did we as a species? We put a man on the moon, and we put John Wayne in a Genghis Khan movie. Both of those are true.
Put him in a fucking Fu Manchu and paint his eyes all
God,
squinty.
What was going on with his hair? He had such a boring old man's hair. Was that
Mark Heap's haircut from Big Train.
Oh, Jesus Christ, was that historically accurate? Is it known that Genghis Khan had the hair of a 50-year-old car insurance salesman?
Of Nigel from Accounts. No, I don't think that was it, but...
I don't think that was recorded in the secret history of the Mongols.
But I'll admit that I'm not a scholar, so... I'm open to being proved that I'm wrong. Anyway, he comes back and he kills quite a lot of them. And
he
takes Bortai.
After he rides off with his mate, and he says to his mate, something about that woman. This is also the first reveal of our John Wayne impressions. Something about that woman says, I want to kidnap her and rapine her. It's like, his mate's like, are you sure? This will cause the film to happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No. Fuck.
Pretty sure, brother of my brother.
There's such a better movie going on over there. Can't we just keep riding? Nope, I think I want to make this the focus of the film, Pilgrim. Oh.
Piss off.
Alright.
Temagai, or whatever your name is. Hey, okay, Duke, we can go and do this. Just promise that every line of dialogue will have one of us saying someone else's name at least once.
Yet we both have cause to know the perfidy of Kumlik and the Mercat Targ's ambition. Fairer than you know, my mother. She is the daughter of Kumlik. Where is Jahmoogah? This is Bortai. Jalair. Wei Ling. Targetai I slew.
That's a deal, Jahmoogah.
My friend, brother of my brother. I hate this.
We shall fight Targetai and take Bortai.
We're gonna get him back from the Merkits. So, he attacks and kills a bunch of people and kidnaps this woman. This poor fucking woman. The score reveals it has absolutely no idea what the fuck is going on as it romantically scores the abduction of this person.
Take this in memory of your Tartar woman.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, we have a couple of scenes where John Khan, he talks about how he's going to force Bortai to be his wife, and she can use her resentment to keep her alive, and then he just rapes her a bit.
Well, eventually. He does. He initially goes to a party with her where he practices his what the fuck is going on face. There's several times John Wayne looks at what's going on around him, it just looks like, what the fuck is this?
Cut! Johnny baby, that was brilliant. Can you do that again? Do what? Excellent.
You're telling me you're shooting this?
Use it. You told me this was a costume party.
She gets stolen by fucking rival clansmen, briefly, and then the score reveals it has no idea what the fuck is going on as he kidnaps her back and forces her into a kiss.
She likes it in the end, though. Women, they will love it, don't they? Hey?
He rides back to the camp and he wants to know what the fuck, how this happened. And so he says, "Where is Jahmoogah?" And some guy gets off a horse in front of him and says, "I'm here, sir."
I am Jahmoogah. What?
Oh, I didn't mean
shit.
Jahmoogah.
Bumooga?
You all look the same to me.
Oh, no.
John Wayne, you can't be racist when we're all as fat and white as you are. And old. They joke about how much she fucking hates him. It becomes a bonding point for them. It's pretty much all of their conversations. It's just how much she really doesn't like him.
You'll find more ease this night than last.
For me, there is no ease while you live, Mongol.
Your future promises much discomfort.
And I have to write the note, why is the film spending so much time on this awful relationship? About 40 minutes in, we don't even know about the political intrigue. We just know that she really hates this guy.
Oh, yeah, well, don't worry about that, Paul, because it will come, and you'll be begging for rape before the end.
Yeah, well, the score has no idea what the fuck is going on as it romantically scores her saying that she'll die before she loves him, and then gets smacked in the face for it.
I shall keep you, Vortai. I shall keep you in responding to my passion. Your hatred will kindle into love.
Before that day dawns, Mongol, the vultures will have feasted on your heart.
That is the apotheosis of the score. Her getting punched in the face. And it's like lazy Sundays on the Riviera.
Yeah.
Golly.
They go and meet this leader and give over the sable fur that she was using for warmth previously, and she just looks fucking miserable throughout this entire
Sure, love might never happen. Except it has several times. You've heard the music. Yeah, they go and meet fucking Jonathan Rhys Davies and John Hoyter-san, who is doing his absolute best impression of a racist.
Is he the one who really properly tried to look and sound Asian?
He squints, Paul.
Yeah. He's the one who's like the shaman, right?
Yeah, shaman.
Yeah. Well, shaman, what brings you out at this early hour?
The rising sun never finds a servant of the heavens sleeping. I come to speed you on your journey, Temujin, and wish you well.
Shaman.
It is good to see you, shaman. What is that?
Oh, God.
What is that name? How do you pronounce those vowels, John?
I feel like we need to mention John Wayne's mother at some stage, because she's been in the camp and she gets some of the best lines from fucking Wayne. You didn't raise me to be killed by no meerkats, mother of mine. Meerkats? Fucking John Wayne? Is that what you're worried about here?
After John Hoyt does his bestest Chinaman impression,
yeah,
we're treated to a dance number.
Yeah, an old school Hollywood dance sequence. That Wayne
Fantastic.
ruins by saying really gross stuff during which the woman just looks fucking miserable.
Does not their skill excite your admiration or even envy?
Seems your Tartar woman does not share our delight in these dances.
Forgive her, old Khan, but lacking the talents of these women, the sight of them is irksome to her.
It just fucking... It just cuts. It just keeps cutting back from the dancing, which is mildly good, to him insulting Bortai over and over again. And be like, well, you know, she wouldn't fucking do it, would she? I think she's putting all that weight.
Fucking look at her. Look at the state of it.
I don't know if you knew any, like if you had any mates when you were a kid whose parents just openly loathed each other, and it was just constant criticism. It's like, oh, this is great.
Christ almighty, yeah. And at this stage, the kidnapped and abused woman realistically decides to do an erotic dance for her captors to show them who's boss.
And oh boy, it's a convincing dancer, right?
Yeah, she wanders around a bit. And eventually... This is good. What's this energy?
I don't think I've ever seen a dance before where I've thought, I could do that.
You've never seen
Not
any
one
dance
dance
like that? I've never seen a mosh pit. Never seen blokes just ambling around. I see that and I'm just like, fucking hell. If I could do that.
When I saw the video for Fat Les, Fat Leslie's Vindaloo. Me and your mum and your mad and your dad. It's above me.
Maybe after a few years of tap. But the scene ends with some absolute pervert eating a crisp, and then she lobs her sword at Wayne. Sometime around here, Wayne uses the term Tartar territory.
I forthwith sent spies to Tartar territory and learned the news which brought me here in haste.
And I warmed to him a little for the first time. I feel a little sympathy. He is riding around with Bortai, and suddenly some Tartars show up vaguely nearby, and she's just like, bye! And fucking legs it.
Tartars!
Farewell, Mongol!
Bye,
no, Bortai,
dick!
we are in Tartar territory.
Not in Tartar territory.
And Targatai is really near you.
Yeah, she fucking legs it, then he gets captured. The scene has no idea what the fuck is going on as she comes out and takes a knife and stabs him, and oh! No, she doesn't. She cuts him free. Lets him go.
Yeah.
I guess I have no idea what the fuck is going on this whole time. Turns out she was warming to him.
Yes. Well, I mean, Paul, you heard the music, right?
In this scene, she throws a sword at him. And in this scene, she decides to free him. She's so much happier in the enemy camp. There's a bit where she tells a soldier to do something, and he goes to do it. When she tried that shit in John Wayne's camp, he practically spat in her face.
But she loves that. Again, you didn't hear the soundtrack.
Bloody women. But yeah, he escapes. The entire army assembles, and are like, maybe we should check that bush by the camp. Don't be ridiculous, man. Everyone ride as far away as possible immediately. And a very fat old man is able to escape the camp slowly. At this point, I've got nothing, Paul. I don't follow the politics, and that's all the rest of this movie is.
Look, I fell asleep with 20 minutes to go, and I had to stop it and then go back and watch the rest of it. I genuinely fell asleep. I was so bored and tired.
He's got a bunch of elderly white men who are interchangeable. One of them is Jahmoogah, and he's like his best mate, but he like has to pretend to betray him, or does betray him, or something. Well, I don't fucking know.
Sure. In the end, they're in a palace, and he kills a guy, and then he goes out and he goes, he's dead.
He's dead, everyone.
And that's the end.
There's a bit where he goes to kill Jahmoogah, and is like, die, brother, die. But his horse just sort of listlessly rides past him instead. Which is great, because you never see that in film. It must happen. It's like, this is the end of your life, sir. And then the horse just, no, that way. No, stop. Okay.
You're lucky.
You're still going to die, you prick. Okay, round, left. There we go. Come on.
Shouldn't have borrowed the horse of my brother.
Brother of my horse. Not me. Someone talks about the Worm of Distrust, which sounds like a metal band.
It's close relation to the lesser of two weevils.
Yeah, he just wins. He wins the war.
Yeah.
And that was the Conqueror.
Conqueror. Oh, that was a bit light on the details on my side of things, Paul.
I mean, thank God I wrote these jokes down, because I can't remember any of that fucking film. To be honest, though, the toxic romance stuck in my mind way more than the political intrigue.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that was compelling, because it was awful.
The thing is, that's historically accurate. One thing in this film that is historically accurate is the the rapey nature of the Mongol hordes.
Yes, but it's a little trickier, because it's actually a really interesting way into the Genghis Khan story. He did have a wife named Borte. She did get kidnapped and was rescued by Temujin. But the two had known each other since they were like 9 and 10. He had been sent to that camp to marry by his father, so he didn't see his family, and then he had to leave to go back because the dad got poisoned by Tartars. So he went back, but then he came back looking for her. There's kind of I don't know about romance because it's all arranged marriage and stuff, but he didn't nick her out of a Merkit camp. And actually, the reason that Borte was kidnapped was in retaliation for the fact that Temujin's father got together with Temujin's mother because he had nicked her from their people. So there's like a cyclical kind of thing going on.
Yeah, the tribal interplay in the Mongols in that time is way more interesting than the film itself. Which begs the question with these films, when you change a story from a perfectly fascinating, amazing story. Yeah. Why would you do that?
I don't know, and why make it more unpleasant than it was? I think it's meant to be. You know what? It's. Think of the great big movie posters. A time of savagery. Come and see women taken against their will. It's freak show. It's, penny circus.
He took what he wanted when he wanted it.
And it forgets nuance.
It's really sad that the attitude was that, women just, come around to it. That lovely manliness that people like that
You've got to show them who's boss.
Ooze off of them.
Yeah.
And
the Sean Connery school of romance.
But I mean, it was ridiculed at the time as well. It's definitely not bad even for the 50s.
I'd have hoped so. We can't tell really, but you'd hope that the whole thing was done with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at romances on screen from that era, yes, it's definitely a kind of, get a hold of yourself! And then you slap the woman 17 times, and then she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm in over my head, and then, now I love you. But
Gone with the Wind.
This was just ludicrous.
I think Gone with the Wind was worse, arguably. I've been patient with you for long enough. You still haven't had sex with me, so I'm just gonna do it. Frankly, I deserve a bloody medal for waiting as long as I did. I'm Brett Butler. One of the best film characters ever, apparently. So she came back from her abduction pregnant, and nobody knew if the baby was Temujin's actual kid or the captor's kid. But Temujin claimed him as his son anyway. So there's interesting character stuff there, and they go out of their way to make it nasty. Like the bit where Temujin offers the sable fur, which is actually a dowry for their arranged marriage, to a warlord, was to get that warlord's support in rescuing Borte. It wasn't just a dick move because she wouldn't need it anymore because of how warm Genghis Khan's cock is.
And this is the thing. It definitely detracts from the human nature of the Mongol horde, right?
Yeah.
Con Iggulden wrote a fantastic series of novels about Temujin and the Mongolian Empire following that. And obviously, you take some artistic license, but in the afterword, he discusses what he kept and what was changed. And as you said, the subtleties there, the nuance, the very human moments in the novel are mostly.
He was a mass.
Yeah.
He was a mass rapist.
He was a mass rapist
murderer.
and mass murderer, yeah. And he, like all men like that are. Caesar and.
There's a human side that makes him compelling.
Yeah, exactly. And like with anybody like that, the appeal of downfall, for example, it's almost taboo to look into something like that and to see the human side in a monster.
Yeah.
And you're just when you're John Wayne swaggering around wanting to play it like a cowboy.
Yeah.
You're just really taking anything that was interesting about that and turning it into a sideshow.
You are, because, I mean, the whole Jahmoogah thing, the idea of turning him into, a spy or something, like he had to portray him for his own good, it's so weird, because there's such a compelling story there about two blood brothers turned against each other by ambition, because there was no reason. They were both equal level. There was no reason one should recognize the other as Khan. And Jahmoogah was fucking crazy. He used to boil enemy generals alive and stuff like that, like an interesting character in a film would.
What? No.
I wish they'd made one of those.
Oh.
There's nothing here about Khan's tactics. What made him good? The mounted archers, the way he would do tricks, the feigned retreats, psychological warfare.
Armies had never seen that. They've never been confronted with that kind of warfare. But this is just a bunch of men going,
It's just a bunch of assholes with bad haircuts. Adaptations of historical fiction, there is always, as you say, going to be license taken. You've got to make things more of a narrative. Genghis Khan is unique in as much as there is an unprecedented amount of information about his life, and the fact that his descendants almost immediately wrote this tract, The Secret History of the Mongol People, which included a huge amount of detail about his actual life, according to, people who actually worshipped him as a god, so, take some things with a pinch of salt, but there's still a good story to be made there, and it's just very odd that they decided, no, I'll do this story.
When you're taking artistic license, what is implied there is that you are improving the story, or there is a need for it.
Yeah,
and
or making the theme more apparent.
Yeah, right. I don't think there is actually any need for that, for any of that. Because the narrative of, the secret history of the Mongol... What was it? Race?
I think it's just of the Mongols, actually.
The secret history of the Mongols. Donna Tartt's secret history of the Mongols. It's written with a narrative in mind. It's teleological, it's progression, and you're coming to the sort of the heights of the empire because of this guy. And there's barely any narrative in this film. There's a narrative.
It's people talking in rooms in a very boring way. There's something... Okay, here, we should talk about John Wayne. I've seen The Searchers.
Okay.
Once, years ago. I don't remember it very well. I've been meaning to see it again when I can catch it on the big screen, because I feel like that's how it should be seen. But I remember there is something, and I've seen the original True Grit, which I don't like as much as the remake of True Grit, because I love the Coens and Haley Steinfeld. You know, those are things that are great about that movie.
Yeah.
So, and just maintaining Charles Portis's dialogue in a way that the original didn't makes it very special.
Remakes can surpass the originals. In some occasions,
or at least other adaptations of the material can do it better.
Right? Yeah.
But anyway,
with a dragon tattoo.
Oh, there's a nasty cough you've got there, mate.
Spend some time in Sweden.
David Fincher. Anyway, that looked at, mate.
Got a finch in your throat. Oh, shit. I'm an idiot.
That's great. I love it. I can't remember what fucking point I was making, mate.
Well, we were talking
Bad
about
one, probably.
we were talking about John Wayne. And
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
of
there
his
we
other
go.
Performances.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. Of them. John Wayne, I always just saw a very old school standard of masculinity I don't respond terribly well to, I think, is the only thing that really got me about Wayne. Maybe I just haven't seen the right film so I can get his charm.
What I've been led to believe, this being my first John Wayne experience, my first John experience, is that in the right film with the right direction and right character, he is outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a broken clock. You have to match it.
Yeah.
It has to be that exact minute. And it's great.
Yeah.
He is not the only one giving a completely mesmerizingly awful performance.
Oh no, they all are. Really.
But it is the standout, and it's not just him and his baffling delivery. It's the dialogue and the structure of the dialogue as well. It's written as this approximation of how Mongolians would talk if they were speaking English, and then performed by Americans doing impressions of Native Americans.
Yeah.
But there's something so hypnotic about the awfulness of the dialogue. Like the bookending of discussions with honorifics. Like, my mother, you take me to see my brother, my mother, and the just bafflingly bad pronunciations of all of the names. And for me, it's like if Troy McClure was playing Genghis Khan, I think, is the problem. Because it was novel, and it was hilarious for the first 10 minutes or so. Every time he came on screen with that weird look that he had, that like lopsided expression, we were like laughing trying to eat our dinner. And but eventually...
I got a list of quotes up in front of me, and one of them is, she is a woman, much woman. Should her perfidy be less than that of other women?
Well, there we go. It's just, what is that? It's dreadful. It's
perfidy?
And it was novel for about 10-15 minutes, and then the laughter just got less and less, and it stopped being the kind of film that... It's not Neil Breen, for example.
Yeah.
It's not baffling in that respect, because I was following the story.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the movie. And with this, I wanted it to be over.
Yeah,
really
I got there. Maybe I've got to say, maybe this wasn't because I didn't have my blissful sort of Saturday morning experience with this one. I just wanted to leave. I was in my house. I just wanted to leave. Fuck this. Bye, everyone. Go down Dalston Way. I don't have that John Wayne down there. Yeah, fuck me. It was boring.
Yeah,
but it's old school Hollywood. I had hoped the production value might pull me through, but a lot of it is just set in this radioactive desert. With characters just something intense, but
it's very, very poor production value for
sparse.
What it actually has, I think. Yeah.
Well, part of that is because one of the Howards, Hughes, Hawks, probably both, had completely bankrupted RKO before we got to this stage. So, you know,
fantastic.
And we're collaborating with the House of Un-American Committee, so everything was great, great. Good stuff. It really, when you just get out all the commies, you really do make a great film like The Conqueror. Meanwhile, oh fuck me, my one better thing is so appropriate. We'll get to that. Shall we quickfire? Quickfire. I really like the fact the film opens with a shot of a mountain.
Yeah.
There's the mountain. And then pan horses war!
There's hundreds of horsemen there. It's a rolling shot of these horsemen. It's fantastic.
Maybe we should just have generally horses, because the horsework in this is fucking amazing. Horses falling, horses turning on a dime.
Shit.
Like,
just immaculate horsework.
Yeah. Real dangerous shit. People, like, bumping into each other. And I always thought if two horses were running and just, like, came anywhere near each other, they would both explode instantly. But no, these horses are just, like, squeezing past each other through crannies.
These horses can't collide. They create a singularity and suck us all in.
Never cross the streams.
Horsey streams. But no, they're bashing into each other. They're riding these horses down sort of 80-degree like gradients and like doing really dangerous stuff with horses.
Fuck yeah. Like I was doing in the 90s in my art. God, I tell you, he's doing some really dangerous stuff with horses. Brilliant. Don't know about that. sounds riveting. Yeah, he's really pushing the paradigm.
You really took advantage of the final years of Major. Fucking hell, it was like Rome.
When money was flowing freely into all public services. God
in
bless.
Major's Britain.
Fucking paradise, mate.
Oh, God. To add on to that, there were good stunts. Some of which were done on horses.
Yeah.
There was one where John Wayne, possibly, was riding and he just fucking scoops her up, pops her on a horse.
Yeah.
Pops her on a horse.
Pops her right on. Against her will.
Yeah. And, there were no... he does, yeah. She didn't want to be on that horse, but soundtrack was on and, But,
swoons.
But, yeah, that's done without any crafty cuts or any weird camera angles. It's just one shot. Some bloke picks up a woman, puts her on a horse.
Yeah, lovely. What more could you want? Oh, I tell you what else I could want. I do like a 50s tough guy. There's a guy in it who's told to us he's tough because his first scene is him bending an iron bar over his back.
Yeah.
And he's a 50s tough guy, so he's a foul man like all the cast. But I like that. I like that about him.
He's got a big hairy willy. And
he's flapping about. But he's got some boobs, bouncing around the place. He's not got pecs.
Yeah.
He's just a big.
Yeah.
He's
a strong man.
He's a big guy. His waistband's up to his boobs, and I just like it.
That's what you need in life.
Yeah, he'll break you in half if he needs to. He's got like a Bane body. A Bane body.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has got a Bane bod, hasn't he?
Yeah. You got to have a good Bane bod now and then.
Well, there was also a indelibly ripped gentleman.
Oh yes, I saw him
in charge of the hog roast.
Yes, he was like on a thing, and he was like, ha! Like a fucking Errol Flynn style type bastard.
Yeah. Like, these muscles are purely for show. Rotate the hog. Jimmy.
Give him a paperclip to unwind and he'll fall to pieces.
That reminded me of sort of Tartan Asia levels of...
Nice.
Like ripped body horror.
Yeah, like
you're
fucking...
watching Ichi the Killer and suddenly, oh, God.
You mean like Bruce Lee at his... Oh, no, I get you mean, like Ricky-O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's occasionally a man who just shouldn't be that muscly, because you think... If I go on his IMDb, he's going to be dead now of sort of calcification.
Of his heart. His heart is solid. After they cremated him, his heart just sort of fell out.
It ascended and left the planet.
Use this as a baseball now. On a bowling ball. The mother's body language in one scene is pretty good. When she's having to gesture. Like, and now you said all these horses after her. And she's like jumping about a little bit. It's good. It was very Terry Jones out of The Life of Brian. Oh, go on then.
If you haven't yet, please put in a couple of her lines, because it's difficult to describe just how bad that dialogue and delivery is. When Temujin and one of his friends,
his mates,
also with a 3-syllable name, botulism, they're looking over a ridge at the Tartars, maybe, and
all the Merkits.
Or one of them, and his mate says something like, "You must be cautious. This is dangerous." And John Wayne goes, "When there are moments for wisdom, then I will listen to you."
Oh, yeah.
And it's quite a cool line, and it helps with that delivery.
It was, but there's just something struck me about his particular brand of masculinity in this, which is just never listen to anyone, always go with your gut, and never doubt that you're right all the time.
But there's awareness of the fact that he's a brute.
It was interesting. I was curious about what awful thing he was going to do next, and that kept me engaged until he stopped doing that. This is not going to translate whatsoever, but when Temujin and I think the Borgias rides in to this town to meet with the emperor bloke and the massive pervert, there's a bloke just sort of, I think he's measuring corn out. I think he's like trying to give a guy like a pound of corn or something. So he's got like these corn sticks. I don't know how historically accurate that is either, corn. But as he walks in, he's like awestruck. And so he just kind of stands with the corn going, like just holding them aloft, ready to weigh them as he looks in awe at Temujin riding past. And it was just a very comedic image, this guy just doing something with corn.
That's going to work in any film, man.
I've got another horse note there, which is that I think John Wayne or his stunt double tries to get on a horse, and the horse immediately just fucking collapses. And it just looks dangerous.
Oh, fuck.
And I think I laughed out loud, though, when it happened, because it was just the abruptness of him getting on a horse. It's just like, nope, and just falls down straight away.
I'm a play horse, not a work horse.
Oh, I knew I should have gotten more sleep last night. Shouldn't have been up all night playing Horse of Duty. That was so...
No, not me. I'm a narcoleptic.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying. A for effort.
I am trying.
Speaking of A for effort, John Hoyt. If you're gonna do a film where you're not actually gonna get any people from the place that you're doing the film about, might not be the right thing to do. But if you're gonna play a Chinaman or a Mongolian, at least go the whole hog. He tried.
I genuinely think they used to give actors props for that, because I watched the trailer for that Genghis Khan, Omar Sharif film.
Yeah.
And the guy in the trailer is a proper 50s trailer, so it's, see Eli Wallach playing the Shah of Khwarezm, and see James Mason in his most challenging role yet, a Chinaman. Yes, I'm a Chinaman, and I'm here to do business with you. Wow. Look at him go. God, that's really good. Well done for him. Robert Morley plays the Emperor of China in that film. Fuck off. Robert eats his fucking dog's Morley. It's the important thing for us all to bear in mind is that it was a different time. It was a different time. Ethnic minorities hadn't been invented yet. And it was simpler. You just got Robert Morley to play everyone.
You couldn't trust Chinamen to play their own roles at that stage.
Well, they just weren't qualified, really. They didn't.
Yeah.
You know what? The spectator sees more of the game, and that includes playing Chinamen. They're too close to it, you see. They don't know how funny they are.
Oh, brilliant!
Do that thing. Do the funny thing. The
what? What do you mean? That. Oh. Classic.
No, the crazy talk. You mean my language? Yeah, do that.
Brilliant.
It's funny. Love it. I like the fact that that's the bad guy, the father of the Borgias. He has male bath attendants, very pretty ones.
Yes.
Very attractive, sort of nice. A couple of nice boys he's got there.
Yeah.
Very attractive looking fellas. And I imagine that in 1950s talk, that's probably queer coding. To suggest, doesn't have women to do this, does he? He's not quite the man that John Wayne is, but, to my 2019 eyes, it was just, that's a nice break.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that subtext. I just went, oh, what a great bit of representation there.
Men can be just eye candy too. That's nice. I'd have that.
To be fair, they were probably objectified more than Bortai was. By the film. She was objectified plenty by Genghis Khan. For,
by Genghis Wayne.
We saw more male boobies than female ones.
Oh, but you see, she did ask for it by being alive.
Yeah. By looking at him with distaste and disgust.
Yeah, she's a tease.
Oh, she's
the way
a
she
go
said
on that one.
The way she said, I fucking hate you and I'd rather die than spend a single night with you. laying it on a bit thick, aren't you, love? I get the message. We'll talk again tonight. I would rather kill myself. I hate everything about you. I wish I could kill you. If somehow fate aligns and I get even the slightest opportunity to take your life, I will risk everything to do so.
What? Hey!
You'll keep your knickers on, love. Hey! I'm going to try now.
Actually, leading on from that, there's when one of these scenes actually when Temujin is trying to have his way with her, and Bortai says, "Is Temujin so in want of a woman that he would quench his fire with ice?" And it's fabulously clunky and badly delivered, but it's quite a good poetic line.
Yeah, I quite like that.
I think it's
I'll
good.
do for a Shakespeare.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of action bits. First of all, John Wayne firing a fiery arrow to alert his troops. Look good. And then he runs a guy through in quite a cool way.
Oh, cool. My final one is just the look of relief on John Wayne's face when Bortai cuts him free from those ropes that has got that like wooden beam across his shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much a, oh, thank God for that.
Oh, dear.
That was awful.
Oh, days like this.
Just a very Genghis Khan thing to do.
Very Leonard Rossiter. Alright, my last one I will say is that some of the set designs were really good, and in particular there's a bit where Jahmoogah and Jahmoogah are meeting in a tent, and I just noticed there are lots of tables around, like little tables with things like little pots and writing tools and just little set details all scattered around.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I mean, it was cool that amount of attention to detail happened.
That's cool, yeah. There's some good sets, and some. Now I think about it, there's some nice ornate rooms in there, and
yeah,
it was just
and big courtyards.
I just kind of dulled by the film, and
yeah,
only realised that in retrospect.
Alright, look, did anyone from the OG team get in touch?
We've got an OG tomb. 2 people.
I hope to be buried in the OG tomb one day.
Still being built by the OG team. Terrible work ethic.
Yeah. It's like they don't want to do it. can't get into the mindset of someone who would think that way. To not
Anyway.
want to bury your favourite podcasters in a tomb of their, to their liking.
Yeah. I mean, why would you get into podcasting if not
Not to get
For-
your tomb built.
posthumous perks?
God, I don't know, mate. When it comes to posthumous perks.
Posthumous perks was was my prestige piece about the Roman Empire.
It's actually about capitalism. Fuck yeah.
Superb. I got Kirk Douglas back from the dead to be in it.
Superb, on the other hand, really disliked the book. She said, in her weekly column, Perb on Perb, she really slated it.
She said, "Oh, it's not very good, is it?"
Thanks, Sue.
Aussie Nerds said, "Does it count if he isn't even trying to be Asian at all?"
You know what? Maybe that takes the sting off it. Maybe it'd be worse if you were trying harder to be Asian. In fact, I know it would be a lot worse if you were trying harder to be Asian.
Yes, it absolutely would.
Small mercies. Ni hao.
Right. couple of things.
Couple
John.
of notes. First of all, China. Second of all, just don't. Konnichiwa.
No. Just be you. Be a cowboy cowboy king. You're the cowboy
It's all
king.
Asia. I went there once.
Actually, technically, China owns at least half of Mongolia now. Well, I wasn't expecting you to know that, but
I wouldn't expect you to be quite so well informed about 2019's political situations. But
they've had it for a while.
What happened to Mongolia?
They're not going to give it back. They've had it for a while.
I'm going to ignore this stage. Nah, nobody there.
Nell, who had to watch it with me, said, "I'll never forget the way John Wayne says target eye, and nor will I."
It was a wonderful, wonderful moment.
Ugh. Stupid.
18th
All of
largest
it.
country in the world.
Are you looking at Mongolia now? That's why you didn't react to that.
Sorry, mate, got distracted by Mongolia. 30% of the population still nomadic. All right, it's not too late then. You and I reckon I could be if you and I head on to Tartar territory, I reckon we could probably make ourselves Khans by the end of the week.
We'll only have to learn how to ride a horse, and then fight from a horse.
Be good on a horse and not immediately fall off a horse.
Not be scared of horses.
Well, not be deathly afraid of all horses. It's a big ask. If I could get to the point where I'm not just screaming and shitting myself, I think I really am in for a chance.
Should we do the one better thing?
Yeah, let's do the one. Shall we even? Is it worth it at this stage? I don't know, man.
Don't know how I feel anymore.
No, it's not very good, is it? The one better thing. I'm gonna go with Spartacus.
All right, cool.
Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus. It's so first of all, a little behind the scenes thing I noticed. Whilst one of the Howards was desperately trying to purge the fucking RKO production studio of all commies, some people were thinking, no, this is fucking ridiculous, blacklisting all of these people. Let's work with some of them. And so this is one of the films that Dalton Trumbo worked on not anonymously, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
During his sort of banishment from Hollywood. He wrote Roman Holiday under his pseudonym. And I think there were a couple of other people involved as well who were blacklisted. And it's the film where John F. Kennedy crossed the picket line to view the film, in spite of protests that it was un-American to do so. It's the only film that Stanley Kubrick didn't have complete directorial control over. It was he was a late addition. He was talked into it by Otto Preminger. It wasn't a film that he had complete control over. There was a lot of conflicts with the studios, and it was kind of a Kirk Douglas movie more than it was a Stanley Kubrick one. In spite of that, it's beautifully shot. Right from the off, you've got this fantastic overture at the beginning. You've got this brilliant opening credit sequence by Saul Bass. Lofty shots, some of which are still left over from previous directors. And just a hell of a movie. It's incredibly well filmed. It's well acted by Kirk Douglas. You've got a whole host of really interesting actors in there. Laurence Olivier, Gene Simmons, Charles Lawton as Gracchus is really cool. Peter Ustinov is brilliant in it. Tony Curtis, just fantastic actors of the time. It's a real ensemble piece, and they all have these great moments to shine. Yeah, and undeniably Kubrickian in some of its sequences. So yeah, I still hold it as one of the best historical epics.
Very cool, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and say you should probably watch Mongol. The Rise of Genghis Khan, the 2007 Sergei Bodrov film. It has a good amount of Mongolian actors in it for a start. A lot of Chinese and I think a Japanese guy playing Temujin, but it's just way more, as discussed, more nuanced, more about the the man and his upbringing and his origins, and it doesn't go much further than him starting to amass a following.
This doesn't cover him invading China.
No, yeah, it's just really well put together, really gorgeous in places, and a pretty good character study. And I think that a sequel is in the works at some point.
Really? God, that's very interesting. It's very belated, but I'd be delighted if it was.
Yeah, it's just great. It's a very good modern historical epic, and hey, just a way better alternative to Conqueror, the John Wayne story.
I'd also recommend a really fun BBC documentary, which you'll get if you just do Genghis Khan BBC. Which
Just
again,
do it.
just do it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just
I think just do.
Go on.
The Genghis Khan motto.
The John Wayne Genghis Khan motto. When it's
know.
a time for thinking, I'll get advice on thinking. No, the BBC documentary, it follows the secret history of the Mongols really closely, and it's just really interesting. It's a bit overwrought, and it spends a lot of time in its battle sequences, which are, very 300 inspired, but it still tells the story better than and more relevantly and interestingly than this fucking thing, so... Yeah, check it out. That was one better thing. That was several better things.
There you go. You lucky boys and girls.
Look at those better things you've got. It's like Christmas Day, and you're surrounded by Mongols, like every boy's dream. And that is the real legacy of John Major's Britain. The one better thing.
All right, thanks for listening to One Good Thing. And
Yeah, I remember that.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, mate.
So hungry and tired.
I really need to start feeding you before we record these.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at ogtpod. You can send us an email at ogtpod@gmail.com. Keep checking Facebook and Twitter because we'll put the call out for the OG team, and we honour and respect every single one of your submissions before we kill and eat them. If you want to subscribe, you can do so on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, even YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram, where I promise I will post something again. It's been a busy week. And
No. I failed. and many more. Oh, I had a big day at work. I didn't have time to do anything else. Now I'm really sad.
Odd emails, loads of them.
We're such a sing-songy podcast. I love it.
God,
I don't know who I am anymore.
Faceless cog in the machine. So, we are also proud members of the A Lot of Green Network, home of us and many other good Australian, fine Australian podcasts. If you want to check them out, alotofgreen.com.au, and see you later.
Yeah. I mean, I put one on, and the cat was in, and he got up to leave, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
But he didn't run.
No.
He sauntered.
He thought, I'll see where this is going.
Yeah, if it's better by the time I reach the... No, I'm here. Bye, dicks.
I'm here.
And he farted on his way out. I hate my cat.
Why did you buy that cat? Why did you buy it back when somebody stole it off of you?
Look, I would literally kill anyone to get that cat back.
I hate myself.
One day it'll accept me. I'm sure of it.
Murder does seem like the best option for getting a cat's respect.
Yeah,
keep at it, man.
Gotta get that respect. I'm Paul Respect.
I'm Paul Murderman.
And remember, the one good thing about the Conqueror is that sometimes the time in which a movie is made leaves good fingerprints on it, like radioactive dust.